Okay, everybody, here we are again. Sunset Rewind, changing the way high school sports is covered. Today, we are fortunate enough to have the Corona Del Mar men's golf coach, Steve Conti, with us today. How you doing, Steve? Nice to see you.
I'm great. Thank you for having me today.
Yeah, it's great. Steve is, how long have you been the CdM golf coach?
I'm going into my third season.
Third
right now.
season.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Yes.
And if you've been around, Newport Beach, Corona Del Mar area for any amount of time, probably have recognized Steve as a volleyball legend. He doesn't like to call it legend, but I will. And but now he's the golf coach. How did you transition into golf from volleyball, or you're still involved with volleyball, I assume? And
a little bit. So I did step away from volleyball in 2018. I came back and assisted for a couple years at Corona Del Mar.
Okay.
And one of the reasons why I stepped away is just to afford myself a little time to do some other things. And one of them was I started playing a lot of golf.
Oh, you played yourself?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
good.
I played a little bit in college, not much, and then raising two kids, and then coaching, and I have some other passions like surfing. Didn't allow me to play that much golf, I want to say, from my mid-20s until about mid-50s. But when I stepped away from volleyball, I have a lot of friends that played, and so the school found out I started playing. And
roped you in, huh?
Yeah, and so Jeff Perry had called me one summer when Mike Starkweather, legendary golf coach, had been at Corona Del Mar a long time, was originally a swim coach. When he stepped away from coaching, they called me to see if I had an interest in taking the program.
Oh, well, good. Well, I'm glad you're on the path with golf, and it's a fantastic sport. I play myself, not very well, but certainly not as well as some of the players I'm sure that are on your team at Corona Del Mar. I'm sure you guys have a pretty good team. This area, Sunset League, has a lot of good players. Why don't you talk a little bit about some of the kids and how they're progressing, and you're kind of towards the end of the season, yes?
Yeah, we have, we'll finish league next week. We got two more league matches on Monday against Marina and Tuesday against Fountain Valley.
Okay.
That will complete our league season, and then the following Monday and Tuesday we have our league championships to determine who the individual league champion is.
Right.
And so, it's been a big learning curve. And I want to say coaching golf is a little different than coaching volleyball. I want to say I'm a little bit more of a manager. Most of my top players have a coach that they're working with.
Right.
And so one of the things I'm trying to do is provide a good experience for them. I've always been a believer of sports has been a platform for me to be able to teach some life skills along the way.
Good.
And so first of all, I want to talk about the league. This league is, in volleyball, it's pretty gnarly. It's the same thing in golf. I've been very fortunate. The coaches in this league, a lot of them have been doing it for a long time. Coach Patch, Coach Haygood, Coach Tarnow, Coach Kaiser, Dean over at Huntington, they've all been doing it a long time. They've all been incredibly successful, and they've all been super helpful with me and my learning curve too. And so an amazing league. From top to bottom, on any given day, if you're not prepared to go out there and play good golf, you better be prepared to lose.
Anybody can beat anybody.
Anyone can beat anybody. So we were fortunate. We had two matches this week. We had our Battle of the Bay at Newport Beach Country Club on Monday. We won by one stroke.
Wow.
Made for some excitement. And then on Wednesday, we played Los Al, who was tied for first place with Huntington Beach, and we defeated them by one stroke on Wednesday. So
great.
It was great. We had a freshman got pulled up to play in his first varsity match, and he was our seventh golfer in, and he made a 3-foot putt to kind of go ahead and clinch it for us. So was a cool thing.
Did he know that he had to make it to?
I didn't ask him beforehand, but I think he could kind of feel something was on the line there.
Because those 3-footers will make your knees knock.
100%. So that was a kind of a...
Just ask Rory McIlroy.
Oh, my goodness. Last weekend was amazing.
It's incredible.
Yeah. So we've got some amazing golfers at our school, too. We've got a blend of quite a few young kids, and then we've got some upperclassmen as well. So James Leehealy is our senior captain this year.
Okay.
He's been on varsity since his freshman year. That was the year before I got there. They won a Division I championship that year, and he was one of the scoring players in that round. And fantastic young man. This is a kid that's he's not going to golf in college. He's going to UCLA. He's someone that needs about 3 classes to be able to earn his degree.
Oh.
So incredibly bright young man, and one of the neat things I've seen him blossom is just with his personality over the last 3 years too. I wouldn't call him an introvert, but he's become more extroverted, I want to say, over the last 3 years. Has been playing really, really good like the last 2 weeks for us as well. We have 3 juniors in our program that all made varsity my first year. Stephen Yang, who's a high-level golfer and is still trying to find his way into becoming a college golfer. And then we have Abe Cho. Unfortunately, he broke his hand right before season started. But that's just the adversity that we all got to deal with in athletics. And then we have Bill Zhan, who's also a fantastic golfer as well. And so these kids have been playing at a high level for a real long time. I was really impressed my first year when I saw them hitting balls on the range on what high-level golfers they were.
They can teach you some things, probably.
Absolutely. Well, there's no doubt about that. And I've played with them, and I would be lying to say, boy, I'd have some little anxiety in the morning on the day I got to play with these guys because they are incredibly good golfers. But more importantly, they're really good people too.
That's great.
So I'm very fortunate. I think that's a big part of a team's success is having good, just not good golfers or good volleyball players, having good people.
Right.
And they certainly encompass all that. And so we have some really good sophomores too. Max Robertson made varsity as a freshman last year, and he started the season playing lights out. He was probably our low scorer in our first 4 or 5 rounds. And we have another really good sophomore in Brooks Buckley who played a lot of JV, played a couple varsity matches last year, but he's really elevated his game. We have some other sophomores. Jack Harris has kind of picked up and has gotten passionate about the game more recently, and so as an 8th grader he was just okay, but in the year and a half, 2 years that he's really focused on it, he's really elevated his game to a whole new level as well. So future's looking bright. We have Mason Clark Bryan, another player who happened to break his hand too, and he was shooting some really low scores for us. And then we've got a few fantastic freshmen too. Luke Ring, who's been playing varsity throughout the whole year, who's also a dual sport athlete, was on our basketball team. So I didn't really get a chance to see him, what we call our preliminary rounds to really determine who's in the program and how we're going to separate into JV and varsity. And James showed up to a match one day with a fever and was really sick, and our JV was there. And it wasn't a significant match, so I'm like, James, I don't need for you to get anyone else sick. I sent him home, and I'm like, Luke, let's give you your opportunity. And he went out there and played fantastic.
And he answered the call.
He answered the call.
Awesome.
So been able to keep him playing. And then we also have another great golfer, Matthew Hull, who was at Pacifica Christian his freshman and sophomore year.
I know his family.
Yeah, great kid, very high-level golfer.
Going to UCLA, yes.
Committed to UCLA
Yes,
for
yes,
golf.
yes.
And so, you know, I really loved when his dad first reached out. They didn't transfer for golf. They transferred more so for to get an experience to try to prepare him from UCLA. Pacifica Christian, I'm sure it's a great school, but it's a very small school. And they wanted to prepare him for kind of a much larger environment where he's going to be going. So I love the fact that they were transferring just not for golf, even though there's a lot of transferring that takes place in athletics now.
Yep.
And in my book, that's a really good reason. For how good this young man is, what's impressed me most is his ability to be humble. He's immediately fit in with the kids on our team as far as our chemistry and stuff.
That's great.
And so the way the sit-out period worked, it happened right before spring break, so we didn't play over spring break. So he's only played in 2 matches. Golf is one of the unique sports that you can play during high school season. You actually can go play outside, like for club soccer,
SCP.
volleyball. Yeah, you can't do that. So he actually had a big opportunity, got invited to a big tournament up north and missed our league match on Wednesday. And he's got a little brother who also played football at CdM, and I think is starting to get the golf bug a little bit later. And so we gave Trent an opportunity to go and play his first varsity match, and he shot even par, and he was the kid that made the 3-foot putt at the end to clinch that victory against LaSalle.
So the holes are going to be a mainstay in the CdM team for a while.
It is. I want to say the strength of our team is the team, and I've got any one of like really 10 guys that can maybe be the low guy on any given day.
That's what you want, for sure.
And so that's a gift that I have. the difficulty I have is trying to make the decisions on who to play and when to play them. And the one beautiful thing about golf is it's very data driven. You know, we're looking at scores where I think with some other sports, it's a little bit more subjective, right?
Right.
And so the future looks pretty good, you know. But at the same time, this league is crazy good. Los Al has 2 amazing freshmen. Edison is very, very young, has a lot of golfers coming back.
And Huntington, I hear, is really coming up and
Huntington,
doing
yeah,
well.
they've got the 2-time individual league champion and Lance Wynn, who's, I believe, committed to Fullerton. Amazing golfer. But they've got other guys like in one of our rounds they've got 4 seniors that they start, but they had one of their underclassmen be the low score when we played them. So from top to bottom, every team and within their own team from top to bottom 1 through 7, I think there's not really a weak point or anything where you can get any easy strokes off of anybody.
Yeah.
So our first year we got second in league. Last year we ended up winning the league and going undefeated in league, and we were in a conference before, so we split into 2 groups of 4. Laguna left the Sunset Conference, so now we're one big league of 7, and right now I believe we are 5-4. And so I think going into the season, maybe there was an anticipation that we would have done a little bit better. And what I've realized, what it takes in golf is you need 5 good scores.
Yeah.
It's not like in basketball where Jordan can put up 50 and kind of make up
Another
for
guy
something.
can only score 3. Yeah.
So we've had different guys at different times produce really good scores, but sometimes we've only produced 3 or 4, and sometimes we've been losing some of those matches by 3 to 5 strokes.
And that kind of points to normally golf is thought of as an individual sport, but that what you just described points to the way that golf is a team sport. And how are you talked about team chemistry also, and how are like the guys that are shooting even par, under par, like helping the kids along that are that they need in order for the team to win to shoot better scores, like that might be on the number 5 guy or the number 6 guy, bringing them up and lifting them up so that they can play better. How's that going?
It's going good. And so that's one thing. I think we've got really good chemistry, and all our kids get along along well. They all support one another. And this sport is brutal. Sometimes things just don't go the way that you wanted.
Yeah.
We all saw that happen with Rory and the Masters this weekend, right? And so last year things went super, super smooth and were very easy, and we got to CIF and we happened to have one of our worst rounds of our entire season. And so I'm a believer that everything happens for a reason, and so maybe we've gone through our struggles now. The hope is that we get into CIF because golf is unique. We're only the league championship. Only the league champ is guaranteed to get in,
We had
right?
Coach Patch in here a week or so ago, and he was explaining it, and it sounds really tough to navigate that whole situation. Yeah.
Right. So we got second place my first year. We didn't get in.
Yeah.
And I felt we were probably one of the top 20 teams in all of CIF. Last year we won. We were guaranteed to get in. Also, Huntington and Edison got in as the second and third place team, and deservingly so. They were fantastic golf team. Both of those teams are really good as well. So we'll have to see. We'll have to kind of see where it goes. There's another kid, Brooks Buckley, is another sophomore kid that's been able to produce some good scores for us as well. And so, like I said, things are narrowing down where I'm going to have to make some decisions. And part of my responsibility is to always do what's best for the team first. And it's never personal on when we get to that point. So right now we're able to play 7 golfers, take the best 5 scores. When you get to CIF, you only get to put 6 in. Okay? And so I'm going to put a premium on, the last couple league matches and how some of our players perform when we get to league championships. So I'll be able to put 7 golfers in league championships. We'll see who can qualify for day 2. And on day 2, I believe it's going to be anywhere from CIF hasn't told us maybe the top 10 to 12 that will qualify for the CIF individual tournament. So we certainly have players that could do well individually. Certainly, we hope we get the opportunity to go out there and showcase our talents in the team championship as well. But we just have to wait to see where we fall in that mix.
Yeah. One of the things that is super interesting and pertinent about golf is you talked about, I think it was James, you were saying, not an introvert, but is starting to kind of come out of his shell a little bit, and golf kind of can bring that out in people. Helps your confidence and helps you, life lessons that are learned on the golf course, perseverance and all those types of things. And maybe talk about some of the kids that have shown that type of growth on the team this year.
Well, I'll use Brooks Buckley was an example of yesterday. He started off 4 over on the first hole. He hit it into the tree line, and then he was just trying to hit a punch shot, just kind of get it out there where he can maybe go in and hit a wedge in. And, at that point, you're probably
make a bogey or something.
Get a bogey. I think that's what his
yeah.
game plan was. But, he kind of had a bit of a flyer lie, and he hit a tree. It went all the way on the other side of the fairway. And I didn't see the shot, and I'm like, well, how did he get all the way to the other side? And my mind told me he must have hit a tree or something. How could you have gotten all the way over there? And then he's a lefty, and he was on a tree root behind a tree, and he had to kind of take a backwards, awkward swing that probably not many kids work on. So it's something that we talked about at
They don't
today's
have
practice.
tree roots on volleyball courts.
They do not, thank God. So what I was most proud about is you started 4 over on hole 1, and it would have been easy to kind of give up and cave in, but he didn't. He shot even par after that first hole.
That's
and that was
awesome.
something we talked about as a team, kind of having that type of grit to be able to, when things aren't going your way, like when things are going your way, like sports are easy,
Yeah.
games are easy, life's easy, right?
Right.
It's how you respond when things aren't going your way. So I love the character that he showed in that moment. I love the character that Matthew's brother Trent showed, because he came and talked to me, and he had produced some varsity potential scores on JV. And he came and talked to me this week, and I said, there may be a chance to get you in. I can't make any promises. We only have 4 matches left. I already have my lineup for Monday, so there's only 3 matches left. But if an opportunity comes up, I'm going to be a man of my word, and you've earned this opportunity. Well, his brother Matthew actually got an invite to play in a tournament up north and emailed me over the weekend. So I said, hey, you got your opportunity.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that he answered the call. There is some pressure when you're going up there for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
Coach Tarnell was like, that's his first varsity match, and he just made that putt right there. He went up and gave him a fist bump.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's, that it was awesome for Trent, but also like the respect I have for Coach Tarnell and how he dealt with that situation,
Yes.
kind of lifted someone up that
Yeah.
wasn't in his program, tells me something about the character of this man, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's something I admire in people. And that's a specific thing with Scott, but I see that in a lot of coaches in our league. So my nature is I want to do well, so I've probably peppered these coaches in the league with a lot of questions on what to do, because I know they've been successful, and I've wanted to have them help me with my learning curve so I can hopefully provide the best experience and the best opportunity to put together the best team as possible. So,
Yeah.
but they've all been incredibly supportive. So, yeah, there's some, like golf can be brutal, right? So at times we've had different guys kind of just struggle in different situations, but they keep working at it. They keep plugging away. There's a saying I used to have in volleyball, and I'm using it in golf as well. The best memories are made in May, right? And so sometimes you have setbacks and some adversity along the way. And the hope is that when we get to May, that all that adversity is going to make us a little bit more connected as a team, a little bit more mentally and physically strong when we need to play our best golf.
Yeah, that's absolutely. That sounds great. How's everybody's grades? Let's talk about they are student athletes after all. How is everybody doing well in their classes?
Yeah, so there's like I said, James Leehealy is a genius, right?
Yeah,
He's
sounds like it.
he was already having to take math at UCI after his freshman year, and so he already has enough college credits where he only needs two math classes and a general ed class to finish a degree at UCLA. And so I said, what, double or triple major? And that's exactly what he's going to be doing. And so this is a guy that I just know whatever he goes into, he's going to be successful. Stephen Yang, the same thing, high achiever academically, and he was someone I had as a student in my class. He's just not a good golfer. Stephen was a really good athlete. It didn't matter what activity we're doing, whether it was pickleball, playing ping pong, doing volleyball. He was someone I could tell that had some athletic ability. I didn't know what kind of golfer he was until I took the job and saw him hit a golf ball. But again, amazing student. Abe Cho's another one. Unfortunately, he had broken his hand. He's just coming off an injury, but he went up and had a bit of an internship over spring break, a week-long internship, and we were just talking when he came back, and he's someone that is probably going to be pre-med when he goes to college, right? So my kids, Matthew Holst, obviously a great golfer, but a very good student to be able to get into UCLA. My kids are really, really academic. James also, what I love about James, we have something called Trident TV at school. He's one of the anchors, does an amazing job up there speaking. And like I said, his sophomore year, I wouldn't call him socially awkward, but he's someone that kind of to put himself in a limb and kind of get out of that shell and anchor, and he does an amazing job. It's something he could probably do for a living. As good as a golfer and student he is, his dad says he's actually his best thing is playing the cello.
Oh, geez.
So he actually plays in a symphony.
Musician.
Yeah. So these kids check a lot of boxes, right?
Yeah.
And they do a lot of good, positive things. He's someone that certainly could have gone and played golf somewhere in college, but he was also looking for a certain academic experience was going to be a higher priority for him.
Yeah. Well, that's fantastic. Coach, it's been great sitting talking with you. It's great to meet you. And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with this Sunset League here coming into the playoffs, because it sounds like there's just about anybody can win that league and then go on into CIF. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes down the road for you guys. Really great to meet you. Thanks for talking about the kids. Good luck. And I guess that's all we have. Is there anything else that you wanted to mention about the team, the kids, the school,
No, just, we hope to do well, but also I think I talked to our kids today, like, if we're not doing well, we want to root for the teams in our league. I want to see the coaches do well. Not necessarily when we're competing against them, but you're kind of competing against the course out there. So we hope Sunset League has a great showing when we get to CIF for individuals and hopefully team.
Yeah, well, good. All right, very good.
Thanks for having
Coach.
me.
Appreciate it. Thank you.